Welcome to Lacrosse Classified, your go-to source for all things NLL and box lacrosse. We will bring you the biggest names and best storylines in the world every single week. So settle down and listen up. It's time for Lax Class.
What's up, lacrosse fans? Welcome back to Lacrosse Classified. We're here on the Lacrosse Culture Daily Podcast Network for Lax Class 349. Jake Elliott and Arger, Lucas Arger, that is, back in the co-host chair this week, and we got a big program coming up for you. We are going to talk to the Major Series Lacrosse MVP. And you might be thinking, oh, it's got to be Dane Smith or Ryan Smith or Josh Byrne or Lyle Thompson or... Nope, we're talking to Jackson Webster of the Owen Sound Northstars, who led the league in scoring and did so by a significant margin and had a hell of a summer, did the Las Vegas Desert Dogs. So we're going to catch up with Webby here in period number 2. We're going to give you a Lax Class Lock of the Week playoff style in period number 3. Dow couldn't get it done last week, but we'll try again this week in period number 3. Rycor Standout Players of the Week, Goalie Factory Goalie of the Week, Lax Class Report Cards are coming up as well. Lots to talk about as we'll take you around the country here as far as box lacrosse goes for the next hour or so. Large Ape, welcome back into the chair, man. I hope you enjoyed your week off, and I hope you're ready to go here for a big episode of Lax Class. How's it going?
It's going good, man. Yeah, glad to be back. Had a bit of a week hiatus doing lots of officiating conferences that Lacrosse Canada hosted here in Oshawa. Was reffing a little bit of the Lacrosse Canada National Development Team camps that were happening as well. And yeah, glad to be back. And now I'm just gearing up for some national championships that we have on the horizon.
That's right. Summer games coming up for you as well, I believe, in Halifax. We still need to kind of figure out our August, as I got a busy one coming up. I'm going to be doing some traveling as well. So we're going to have to figure out the next few weeks here. Oh, I got to mention this, Lucas, before we get too far here. Happy birthday to Funky today here on recording day. Funky's, I don't want to ask how old she is, but she's having a birthday.
Yes, she is. When this episode comes out on Wednesday, it'll be my sister's birthday.
They're one day apart.
They are one day apart, yep. So lots of cake, lots of candles, and singings of happy birthday at my house at this time of year, which is always nice.
Good stuff, man. A little expensive on the wallet, too, when you got to kind of double down. Like, when you get that, like, Christmas and birthday sort of combination with some people, that can be a tough... I mean, it sucks for them. Like, you probably don't get to feel like you get to celebrate both as much as you maybe would have if they were spread out. When's your birthday?
June.
Did I miss it, or did we get you? I think I got you. I can't remember.
Yeah. No, you did. Yeah, no, our episode, can't remember which number came out on the Wednesday of that week. My birthday was the Thursday.
All right. Like I said, really busy time in the world of lacrosse now. The senior boys regular season have wrapped up. Playoff matchups are set. Some playoff games have already been played in the WLA. In fact, one last night, Bellies and Shamrocks in game 1 of the WLA series. We might as well start there. This was high-level elite lacrosse in game number 1 between the second place Bellies and the third place Shamrocks. 12-11, Bellies win it, and it was nip and tuck the entire way here. Like, nobody had more than a 2-goal lead in that game, but both teams led the game back and forth. It went. Power plays were clicking. We get Berards and Adnax tonight. That'll be over by the time of recording, and then Wednesday will be game 2 of Shamrocks and Bellies. That will be in Victoria. What else can I tell you? A lot of the awards have started to come out for the WLA as well. First and second team All-Star, Coach of the Year, Steve McKinley, Rookie of the Year, Silas Richmond. And those will be just kind of rolling out over the next little bit here. But I haven't seen Coquitlam Maple Ridge yet, but I have seen Bellies and Shamrocks. And let me tell you, Largy, if this game 1 was a prelude of what's to come in this series, get ready to go the distance, because these are two very good and well evenly matched teams.
If we were to get 5 games of this, sign me up for all of them. That was a barn burner last night. It would have been amazing to be in New West for that one.
It was an earlier start with the island team on the mainland, and I think the crowd was a little unaware of that. Like it filled in probably right around when actual face-off usually was. So I think they need to do a little bit better to get the message out there that these are going to be early starts when the games are in New Westminster and Victoria for that matter, but they're used to it over there. Junior series, the junior Shamrocks cashed their ticket to the BC final. They disposed of Nanaimo in 6 games, 4-2 the final there. Coquitlam swept Delta, so it's Shamrocks and Adnax once again. I believe that was the final last year as well. Coquitlam won that series 4-1, but that series gets going tonight, Wednesday. When you hear this, game 1 will be in Coquitlam. That's a 5:30 start, so if you're listening to this podcast early, and I know a lot of people do right when it comes out, 5:30 start for Adnax Shamrocks in junior, 6:30 start for Shamrocks Bellies in senior. Both are online and available to watch.
That Junior A series between Shamrocks and Adnax, is that best of 5 or best of 7, Jumbo?
The BC final will be a best of 7. If it was the Minto was in BC, it would probably be a best of 5, but because it's a right to go to the Minto, it'll be a 7-gamer.
Who wins?
I think Coquitlam. I think Victoria finished second, right? You got the first and second place team here. Like, I don't want to say the Shamrocks have overachieved because I don't necessarily think they have, but they didn't do anything at the deadline to try and improve their team either, which kind of tells me they may know where they sit in the pecking order here as well. But I'm sure they're going to lay it all out there and give them the best go they can.
No, 100%. I will personally say that I was shocked that Nanaimo got 2 games off of Victoria. I thought it was only going to be 1, but the Timbermen did hold their own, certainly. And 10-7 final in Game 6, Victoria was in full control of that game, or at least for the majority of the game, and it was a good one that I watched. So if you're the Shamrocks, you just don't want to, drop below the level of playing that you put up in round 1, and if you're able to stay at the same level or even go an extra step further against Coquitlam, you could give them a run for your money. But no, I do agree with you, Jake, that Coquitlam will win this. Just a big question is, if Coquitlam does win, how many games will it be in?
Yeah, well, we'll find out. And listen, I thought Nanaimo was going to win that series against Victoria, and they were the team that went out and bolstered their lineup in on the back end, front end, goaltending. They pushed their chips in for that series to get to the BC final at least, and that didn't happen. So Victoria's playing really well. So maybe I'm underestimating them. I don't think Coquitlam will. But we shall see. Rocky Mountain Junior Lacrosse League. The finals are set. Cameron, I think since the first time since 2019, we're going to see a all Calgary final essentially here with Raiders and Mountaineers. As the Miners got a game, they had it there in Game 5. They let it slip away, and the Mountaineers disposed of them in 5. And now we'll take on the Raiders, who beat the SWAT in 4. And the great part about this now, feel bad for Edmonton, sure, but with it being 2 Calgary teams, this series can flow here every second day with both teams being in close proximity. They don't have to wait for the weekend to come along to play games.
When you have 2 teams that are close in proximity, getting the series, I wouldn't say over with, but playing every second day or even giving them 2 days rest is always nice. It's when you have to wait for the weekend that you have to take care of your body. You have to rest up for that week. Make sure you're not doing anything dumb that could potentially injure yourself and then go play Saturday, Sunday. But if you play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, it's just bang, 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 bang. And that's what I have found that junior players prefer more, because then they don't have much time to think about what they could or could not be doing. They just know they get 1 day off and they're right back at the arena the next night.
Well, sometimes even on Ontario, and they're young, right? They recover a lot quicker than older guys do. But, I mean, in Ontario, they're not even taking a 1 day break sometimes. They're playing on back-to-back nights with travel involved in that as well. And for Dalek, who was on the pod last week, Lucas, and I'm sure you tuned into that, made some waves with a number of things that he had to say as per usual. But he said, Orangeville, Coquitlam will be in the Minto Cup, and I would feel the same way, and I think I still do. But let's give the Peterborough Junior Lakers a little bit of shine here on the show, because Listen, they had a first-round matchup against Six Nations. That was kind of a coin flip series, and they took care of business against the Arrows. And then you thought, okay, that's good. Like that's good for the Lakers. But now you got the Hornheads here, and now let's see. Tight games here. Like nobody, I don't think, has got to 10 yet. It's been defensive, low scoring, and Orangeville, they went back and forth in the first couple. Then Orangeville won 2 straight. They're up 3-1 in that series, going home to Tony Rose to close out that thing. And normally, that's where Orangeville puts teams to bed, not Peterborough. They win last night. Big goal late in the third. They win by a goal, and they're going back to the Borough here for game number 6. And I think now anything is like if Peterborough wins game 6, all bets are off in that game 7.
I don't think that Wageen Shognosh is getting as much credit as he deserves. This kid is absolutely amazing. He is. This is essentially his breaking out party. Like no one really
what makes him a good goaltender?
It's his ability to go cross crease that you need to do in junior A, just in junior lacrosse in general. Now that the nets are wider, but it's also his lacrosse IQ. What I have found over the past X number of years, whatever the case may be, especially in box lacrosse, is that, or actually, I'll back this up a little bit. We don't talk about it much on the podcast and we don't do it in general in terms of field lacrosse. But what field lacrosse goalies do is that they talk to their defense a lot. And that's what I'm finding that more box lacrosse goalies are doing. And Shognosh has picked up on that. So when he is constantly communicating to his defense and he's calling the picks and he's calling the seals of, especially when you're playing Orangeville, you know where Matthews is, Kruger, Trey Deer, the rest of their potent offense. When he's able to see them before his defenders are, that's what makes him so good because he knows what's coming before it even happens. And that is why he has helped the Lakers steal not 1, but 2 games at Tony Rose.
Yeah, I don't even know if they've stole them now. I think they've just won them. And you're not the only guy to kind of point me on to Shognosh here. I was talking with Danny Pilon a little bit, and he mentioned that this guy is legit. Like, Konstopoulos is massive. Like, he's a big goalie. And I think Shognosh is kind of in between. Like, he's not really a reactionary goalie. He's not really an angles goalie. He's kind of a hybrid of the two, where Konstopoulos, you can look at him and think like Frank Giuliano is when I watch him play. I think that's a comparison. Shognosh, I'm not really sure kind of where to put him. Like I would put him in, like I'm not comparing him by any means, but kind of the Matt Vince type of style where he's not just like he's a hybrid. You know, he's getting some attention, and I think you make a good point with the goaltender communicating. Like I know when I coach lacrosse, I always it's the first thing out of my mouth that the number one thing I believe in for a lacrosse team is communication, whether it be on the floor, on the bench, in the locker room, away from the game. If everybody is communicating all the time, we're going to be a better team. And that goes for the goaltender as well. And who in that position has a very unique perspective of the game, because defenders are not always facing up floor, right? They're going into corners, they're facing the boards, they're getting picked off, they're falling down. Where goaltenders are the last line of defense, they're in behind everybody for the most part, and they have a unique view that nobody else in the game gets. And if you can have a goaltender that can stay focused on the task at hand, which is obviously stopping the ball, but can also help his defense by communicating with them, that makes such a difference. And the greatest goalies are the best communicators as well. So I think you make a great point on that with Shognosh. And for all young goaltenders out there, yes, stop the ball, work on your passing and your rebound control and everything else, but work on your communication as well, because it's really, really important as a defense to hear your goaltender back there letting you know what's happening, how much time's on the shot clock, where the ball is, who's open. All that sort of stuff matters for box lacrosse. And so I just kind of wanted to touch on that point a little bit. We're going to talk to Jackson Webster here coming up in period 2 about it, but major series playoff matchups are set. It is Six Nations and Owen Sound, Peterborough and Brooklyn. I thought Coburg might be the team that might sneak in there. I think you called that. Did you not? You were the one that said Coburg was
Yeah,
going to get in. But
I
no, it's
thought
Owen
that
Sound.
I thought that they would. They just ran out of gas at the end of the season. Unfortunately, from people that I spoke to, they just weren't having enough bodies at their games and they were just getting outworked, outran, outplayed, and they just wouldn't be able to keep up, especially when they had, I think their final three games, and I think two of them were against Peterborough and Nations. So that made it really tough on them. Their final game was against Peterborough. Their second last game was against Brampton, who they lost to. Sorry, their
It,
fourth last game was against Nations. So in their final four games, one against Nations, one against Peterborough, and two against Brampton. So it was just tough for them to get bodies to games.
Explain to me where Coburg is exactly, because I always hear guys going, "Oh, going to Coburg on a Sunday night to play." Like, how far from, I don't know, how far from Whitby is it?
It's about an hour from Whitby, just about 50 minutes, 60 away from Peterborough. But there's really nothing to do around there. There's a beach that everybody loves going to. That's a big tourist attraction, but other than that, there's not a lot going on in Coburg to my knowledge during the summers, and it's a nice place to go to, but on Sunday nights, like you're already tired. You've already had your entire weekend. For most of these guys, it's just tough to make the drive out there because there's not a lot of players on that roster that live in the area. Most of them live a good hour away, if not further. So it's just a long drive to make, especially for a 6 p.m. game, and then you got to trek all the way home. It's just not something that's at the top of their bucket list at the end of a weekend.
We're going best of seven here in the opening round, right? Looks like we are. I
Yes, we
think the
are.
schedule, yeah,
Yeah.
that's there's still one more game to come, which is kind of weird. Like Oakville and Brampton are going to play on the 31st, but the playoffs are also going to start on the 31st with Brooklyn at Peterborough and Owen Sound at Six Nations for game number one. That's different.
You don't see that every day.
Well, we'll see who wins and we'll see who matches up in the major series finals. Both those series will go best of seven, WLA, best of five, then best of seven for the final there. I think, well, what do we need to do? We need to touch on B1, Kanawagi Hunters taking on the Allura. Are they called the Mohawks?
Hawks.
Hawks now, just the Hawks.
Yeah,
And they're the
they dropped the
defending.
moniker Mohawks this season.
Yeah. This season, okay. They're the defending Founders Cup champions, are they not?
They are. They won their eighth or sixth, one of those two numbers
All right.
in franchise history last year.
They beat the Orangeville Northmen in the Ontario final 3-2, but the third game,
Ontario Western Conference final. They beat Orangeville.
17-1 in the deciding game.
Yeah, that one was Allura just wanted it more. I mean, it was in
I'd
Orangeville.
say 17-1 in a playoff game.
I can't recall the last time I saw a
I don't care.
margin that big in any game, let alone playoffs.
Yeah, and margin's one thing, but one goal. I mean, that's alarming on the Orangeville side and very impressive on the Allura side of things. So would you say, I know they got to play the Hunters here in the fight, but would you say the Allura is the favorite in this and maybe are they ready to jump to Junior A, this Allura team, the Founders champs, and they're going right back to it, it looks like.
I'm not sure if they're ready for Junior A. I'm kind of going to veer away from answering this question. It's been speculated, it's been rumored, it's been thrown out there a little bit. I just don't know if the organization wants to go to Junior A is the only thing I'll say. I think they're content staying at Junior B. I don't think they want to make the jump to the top yet.
Like being the big fish in the small pond, maybe.
From what I've heard, that's accurate.
Interesting. Senior B playoffs, I think, are underway. It's looking like Ladner out here. We know the Merchants get the auto bid. Who else is strong in Ontario as far as that goes?
Nations and Hamilton are in the middle of their series. Hamilton has won the first two games as it's a best of five, so Nations is on the brink of elimination now. So that will be a good game come Thursday or Friday night, I believe, at the Iroquois Lacrosse Arena.
Shout out to Ty Belanger, by the way.
He's having a hell of a year.
I had to do a double take when I saw old T-Bells there I was like, is that Ty Belanger in net? And I mean, this guy was playing goalie for the Vancouver Stealth back in like 2018, 2019, something like that. And I hadn't heard a pip from him since then. And then all of a sudden he shows up in Six Nations. I was like, okay. So I don't know where or what the goalie changes were there for the Rivermen, but there you go, Ty Belanger. And then we saw, what else did we see? We saw those Standing Buffalo hoisted the trophy, but from what I can gather, Saskatchewan's birth to the President's Cup, there's pretty much unwritten rules with this. Like, I think they can just slap together the best team that they possibly can in Saskatchewan, which features a few good ones. Don't get it twisted here. Is you got Shanksy and Boudreau and Messenger, and I think Shat's still taking a few shifts out there, and I think they're going to try and put an all-star team together in Saskatchewan, and then I think they want to host the President's Cup next summer.
I've heard the same thing. I don't know a lot about the Saskatchewan lacrosse landscape in terms of how they're able to qualify a team, if it's a club team, some sort of an all-star team, if it's the best players that they can. All I know is that it will be fun, nonetheless, to see which team represents Saskatchewan this year.
Yeah, well, last year they had Dixon, Shawnee Evans, Frank Chiliano in goal. So they had a few guys there, but they still got it handed to them pretty good at the Prezi. You can't just show up there and think you're going to win games. Like, it is a battle every single time out there. Can-Am League, no, Three Nations Lacrosse League. It will be the Muskies of Snake Island facing off against the Axemen of Capital Region, which, I mean, the two all-time names right there, the Muskies and the Axemen. Mohawks and Bucks in the other series. And funky constitution, I guess you could call it, there in Three Nations, where I think all teams have to decide and agree on how the length of each series. I got to double check on this, but
I've never heard that.
Both teams have to agree on the length of the series, whether they want it to be 5 or 7. And if they can agree, they just flip a coin.
That is the best thing I've heard in lacrosse in a long time.
It's unreal.
You want 5, I want 7. We can't agree? Okay. You call heads, I call tails.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but stay tuned on that. Can-Am League, I don't know what's going on in the Can-Am League, so I'll try and find that out. It is tough to kind of dig up information on some of those teams and what's happening back there from a Western guy anyways. So I'll get you updated on the Can-Am League as we're working our way to the championships here. Both the Founders and the Minto, I think, are going on during the same week. So you'll get some Founders action during the day, then Minto Cup action at night. Then you'll get President's Cup the following week from Whitby, and then you'll have a few days off before the Man Cup starts. I want to say September 5th will be the start date for the Man Cup. So you're looking mid-August for Minto and Founders, late August for the Prezi, early September for the Man Cup.
It's going to be a fun 7-8 weeks of lacrosse, and I can't wait for it to get started. But before we do that, Jake, we got to jump back to the OJ quickly. We talked about Lakers and Northmen. What about Beaches and Whitby?
Oh, shit. I didn't even bring that up, did I?
No, you didn't. You left out my home team.
Well,
yeah, let's not talk about it. Beaches won last night. They're up 3-2. That's it. Let's move on.
No. We got to
No. Willem Firth had one hell of a game last night against Whitby. I'll say that. He is starting to break out in these playoffs. In game 5, he had 11 points on the night. Last night, can't recall how many that he had.
7.
But 7? All right, so 11 in game 5. Sorry, 11 in game 4, 7 in game 5. Game 6 goes tomorrow night in Whitby. I think you're starting to see now why Thomas Kazik is the best junior A goalie in the country, because him using his NLL experience, and now that he has a bigger stick and a bit of a smaller net in front of him, oh my God, he's looking like how he should.
Yeah, Jack Kask might be in that conversation as well, so I don't want to, and this Shognosh too, like, Some good, like I've been saying this for the last year or so. There are some really good young goaltenders coming up, both on the East Coast, West Coast. I used to believe that it was a major concern that with all the expansion that was going on, that we just didn't have the depth at the goalie position to kind of field NLL roster caliber goalies. I don't feel like that anymore. Like I think there is this crop of young goalies that are coming up are exceptional. We got a young fella coming up here in period number 2 as well in Jackson Webster. But we still got more to get to here in period 1 before we do that. Speaking of goalies, let's head for the factory, Largy. And let's talk about this week's Goalie Factory Goalie of the Week.
Big save, Chiliano. Rebound call, Crime Stoppers.
Vince just scored a goalie goal.
Jameson somehow comes up with the stop. Larceny.
And here's Shane Jackson off the bench. And there's Christian Del Bianco with a stick side save.
Goalie Factory Goalie of the Week, brought to you by the Goalie Factory, as they're located out there in Langley. They're dedicated to developing the next generation of lacrosse goalies in the Lower Mainland. I feel like we're talking a lot of goalies here this week anyways. They're probably loving it over there at the factory. You can get in touch with these guys by going to @GoalieFactory_ on TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram. Click their link tree in their bio, and all their contact and sign-up information is at the ready. Super simple. Get better at playing goalie by getting in touch with the Goalie Factory. And if you're not in the Lower Mainland, you can get online Zoom coaching as well. Goalie Factory. You mentioned Shognosh, you mentioned Kaizik. What are 3-2 beaches now in that series?
Yep, it is. They have a chance to close it out tomorrow. Whitby will look to force game 7.
One-handed goal there from Joshy Mills. Gave it a little clip-it action on.
That was disgusting. That was something to behold. I saw that live, and I kind of had to do a double take. I'm like, did he really do that while killing a penalty? Yeah, he did.
Oh, that was shorthanded too. I didn't know that.
It was a shorthanded marker.
All right, we're not talking about Josh Mills and his goal-scoring prowess. We're talking Goalie Factory Goalie of the Week. I'm just trying to find this here once again. This week, I'm going with a guy by the name of Jason McGinley, who's out of Richmond, British Columbia. I'm trying to remember the age group. I think he's U17 here, Lucas, but regardless of the age group here, in his last 5 games, he's faced 321 shots, and he's allowed 20 goals on those 321 shots. I don't know the average. I don't know the goals against. I didn't do the math, but 20 goals on 321 shots, I think is pretty damn good. So he's getting the Goalie Factory Goalie of the Week, along with the legend himself. As he did it again, came out to start the second period, didn't get the W, but from what I'm told, made some quality stops, gave the boys a chance to win. Whatever he's got to do to try and help things along. The captain of Snake Island, Joe Hall, threw the goalie gear on once more. 20 years deep in this league, this guy's throwing goalie gear on in a regular season game. You kidding me? Joe Hall and Jason McGinley are going into the factory this week as the goalies of the week.
I don't know what's better. You allow 20 goals on 321 shots, or the fact that you've been a goalie in a league for 20 years?
No, he's not even a goalie, Lucas. He's a player.
I know he's not. He's a player suiting up. I love it. But either way, that's pretty darn impressive what both of them have done. So congrats to you both. Hopefully we will see both of you again, Jason and Joe. Oh, it would be fun to see Joe Hall, his team make it to the President's Cup, and then he himself suits up as a goalie at the President's Cup. But we're not there yet.
I just feel like it's just not quite the Prezi unless Joe Hall and the Muskies show up, But maybe not this year, as Hunter or the Mohawks, I think, got a pretty good shot. Kanawagi. They got some ballers on that team, and I think it'll be Muskies and Mohawks in the final. Which, man, to be inside the Turtle Dome for that series would be absolutely epic. But McGinley and Hall, welcome to the factory. Get some hard labor into you before your next time out there. We're going to switch our attention from the position of goaltender to the position of player here in lacrosse. Says we're going to head for the construction site and give you our Rycor standout players of the week. Rycor Construction standout players of the week. We still got report cards to do, Lucas. I just realized we forgot to do report cards before the Goalie Factory. We're doing it out of order this week. We'll get it in. But here, it's Rycor standout players of the week, and it's brought to you by Rycor Construction. They make it stand out. We talked about Josh Mills. He was standing out for the Beaches. And when he's working on the construction site with his pop there, he makes it stand out there as well. They're fun, they're family-owned, and they operate a business serving the Lower Mainland, specializing in all residential interior and exterior renovations. Whether it's a kitchen, bathroom, full home reno, an addition, flooring, finishing, backyard transformations, you get the idea. They make it stand out, and they got tons of experience to go along with their quality craftsmanship. RycorConstruction.ca is where you want to go. Lucas, who stood out for you this week in the world of box lacrosse?
We talked a lot of goalies, and I already mentioned his name, so I'm going to stick with him in Beaches Junior A goaltender Thomas Kajzek. He has been electric in these playoffs, more specifically in round 2 against Whitby. He's been able to deal not 1, but 2 games on the road, which has helped his team take a 3-2 series lead and put Whitby on the brink of elimination. But Kajzek is playing just like he did when he was called upon to make his first career NLL start and then had to make another one the consecutive week. And there's a reason they call him T-Bone. He's big, he's strong, and he's able to work hard. And he's been able to stand out for me in this playoff series.
I forgot about T-Bone. You know, I had a few options this week. I could have went with standout player Jamie Dowick this week, who right after coming on the podcast, I wake up to a text message in the morning. I just got a hole in one. And I was like, come on, because he was giving me the gears about disc golf and being able to do what Heimberg did on 18 and sink that putt. He goes, I could do that. You're just chucking a Frisbee. And I was like, yeah, you think you could, but you really couldn't. But I'm not giving it to Dowick. Congrats on the hole in one, but he didn't get the whole shot on video either. He just got him fishing his ball out of the cup there. So who's to say whether it really happened or not? I could have given it to myself this week, Lucas, as once again took down the old Frisbee toss at the Palace last week. I think that was my 4th, maybe my 5th Frisbee toss win there last week. Put this one right on the button. Hit the face-off dot in the paint. Took down another one. Ryan Mills, in fact, of Rycor Construction, said, I'm coming to Coquitlam tonight, and I'm taking down the Frisbee toss. I said, Millsy, don't waste your money, man. I said, I'm doubling down here. I'm picking up 6 Frisbees tonight just to guarantee I win. Challenge accepted, he says. Well, we know how that ended. A $50 gift card to Sam's Pub in the pocket. But I'm not going to give it to myself this week. I will, however, give it to Willem Firth, who has just gone psycho here over the last couple of games in the playoffs. You mentioned 11 points, 7 goals, 4 assists, followed that up with another 4 and 3, and suddenly it looked a little dicey for the Beaches early in that series. Now they're 1 game away from the OJ final, and who is highly regarded as the best Junior A player in the country, Willem Firth is my standout player of the week.
No argument. Firth has been dominant. He's finally starting to show why he's the number 1 player in Junior A lacrosse in this country this year. And should Beaches make it to the Ontario Finals, I don't envy any defender that's going to try and lock down Firth, because he is just a menace out there.
Could he win a Frisbee toss? I don't know. But he can score the ball in lacrosse. That much I do know. And we'll see if the Beaches can get to the OJ final. So Orangeville up 3-2, Beaches up 3-2. A lot of people were calling Toronto. You said they had no chance. Not
you had to bring that up. You had to use my own words against me.
Every now and then I got to keep you in check. Got to keep you in check. We're going to keep some more folks in check here coming up next, as we're going to hand out our Lax Class Report Cards.
Today is report card day. Today is report card day. It's report card day.
I take out my report card. Throw some G's on that phone. I take out my report card. Hey.
I take out my report card. Report cards are brought to you by the Western Lacrosse Association. We talked a lot about the WLA. We'll do a little more. Go to WLAlacrosse.com and you'll find all the stats, the scores, the news, the picks, the links, WLA TV. It's all there at WLAlacrosse.com. Playoffs are underway, and it's a run to host the Manor here. Stay up to date with the Western Lacrosse. By the way, I saw Adam Levy post something up about the WLA playoffs coming out, and I saw a couple of replies. I don't know who this guy is, but he said something about major series. If you want to watch major series, you can't, which, and he's like, oh, at least major series doesn't put their product behind a paywall. And I kind of I was like, did he just say that having no option to watch the game whatsoever was better than having the option to watch the game pay-per-view? Did I just read that correctly? He would rather have no option, no chance to watch the game than to maybe get off the wallet if you want to. Nobody's got a gun to your head here, pal, but at least you have the opportunity. Maybe you can get 5 of your buddies and you can all chip in $2 if you want to watch the game. But to say that that made absolutely no sense to me. So I don't know what's going on in that guy's brain. But anyways, I'm getting off track here. You can watch, if you want, every single WLA playoff game, courtesy of WLAlacrosse.com. And now I lost my train of thought. Oh, report cards, Lucas. That's what we're doing right now. What is your Lax Class report card this week?
We did a full roundup this week. We included some of the B leagues, Three Nations League, etc. So I'm going to head to Ontario Series Lacrosse, Senior B here, and I got to give it to the Hamilton Bengals. Going up 2-0 on the Six Nations Rivermen, and people didn't think that would happen.
Perennial champions, yeah.
This Bengals team, for Senior B Lacrosse, they've got one heck of a roster.
Who do they got?
Well, they got Andrew Kidd and net, for starters, the backup to the Albany Firewolves.
Hang on. Is he not playing for Owen Sound?
In Senior A, he is. His Senior B rights are in Hamilton.
So he's playing both?
Yep.
How is that even possible?
Because to my knowledge, the way it works in Senior B is that the first team that you sign with, whoever that is, they own your rights at the beginning of every season. If you then
he's playing playoff lacrosse for both Owen Sound Senior A and Hamilton Senior B. Like he's playing in the playoffs for both. That should not be a thing.
No, it shouldn't be, but it's what's allowed.
Wow.
Anyway, so you got him in net. You have Peyton Wallace, that's on that team. You have Gareth and Ryan Haig, who have Senior A experience. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but I can't. But nonetheless, they steal 2 games against the Nations, against the Rivermen, one of them on the road at the ILA, and they've now put the Rivermen on the brink of elimination, and I don't think anybody had that on their bingo card. So Hamilton, well done, fellas. You guys are giving Nations a run for their Ontario championship on the line.
I mean, how many times in a row has Six Nations won the Ontario Senior B League? Like, they just seem to be a fixture.
It's been a lot. I can't remember the last time anybody other than them represented Ontario at the Presidents. The only one, unless 2022, when the Presidents was held in Oakville, and Oakville had a Senior B team.
That's a host team.
Yeah, no, but did Oakville win it that year? That's what I can't remember.
Well, I don't know if they won the Ontario League or not, but they were both in the Prezi, but they didn't make it to the President's final.
Okay. All right.
It was Ladner and the Miners. Speaking of the Miners, it's where my report card is going this week. And I got a lot of respect for the Miners organization and the people involved with that organization, including the Cornfields and Johnny Lintz and a bunch of guys surrounding that organization. What I saw in Game 5, well, first I saw John Lintz get ejected from the game. I don't know what happened. Like I kind of was watching this with the sound off for the most part. I was doing some other things, but I saw John Lintz be escorted off the floor in an elimination playoff game, which Johnny doesn't really lose his temper for no reason, but when he does, he can lose it pretty good. And I don't know what was said or what happened or what prompted it, but I was a little disappointed to see not only him be ejected from the game, but be ejected in a playoff game when his team probably needs him more than most. I'm sure Linter feels pretty sick to his stomach that he kind of let his guys down in that regard. But I also saw a BC boy here in Temecca Godfredson who spent some time with the Langley Junior Thunder, played up a couple of games with senior last year as well, was on the North American Indigenous Games Team BC team for their U19. Like, good kid, like good player. And I don't know what prompted this either. And I sincerely hope it was nothing racial related that made him snap. And if it was, then I'm giving him a free pass on this because I don't know how I would react in that scenario. I'd probably do the same thing. If something racial was said about me or my family on a lacrosse floor, I'm probably going to lose my marbles. And that's what Temecca did in this situation. If there was nothing that kind of prompted it and you just did this on your own volition, then I got a real issue with it. And he essentially just cross-checked the guy in the neck, knocked him to the ground, and then proceeded to cross-check him 3 more times in the head while he was on the ground, which is borderline assault. Like, that's when you're intentionally trying to injure somebody. And that's not a good look for the Miners. That's not a good look for Temecca. It's not a good look for lacrosse. Like I said, if something prompted that response, then I want to hear about that, and I'm going to put that person on blast. But right now, for what I saw from Temecca, didn't like that one bit, son. You can't be doing stuff like that again in an elimination game in the playoffs, and you hurt your team like that.
There are some people that just decide to forget about the sport and the game of lacrosse and just make it personal. That's not okay. You have to remember the environment that you're in, the people that you're with, and at the end of the day, you're a human being. Why would you ever decide to just knock someone on the ground and then go at them again and again repetitively?
And again, and then had the arms out to the side, kind of like, oh, what did I do? Why am I getting kicked out? And then he was egging on the crowd as he walked off the floor. It wasn't a good look all around. And I hope nothing like that was the reason why. I don't even, man, like, if it was racially related, then again, like, I can understand the reaction, but if it wasn't, then I can't understand that. So I'd like to kind of know more about that, but I just didn't like what my eyeballs were seeing as a whole. I do want to give a quick shout out to my guy, Dave Dawson, over there at HN Live, who was calling those games, and his goal call is electric. It's electric. So shout out to Dave Dawson and D- this week there, Temecca and the Miners.
So you go D-. I'm gonna go A for Hamilton. Those are some good report cards this week, I'll say.
They were contrasting, I will say that much for sure. This podcast has been a little contrasting so far, and we got more to come. We're going to hop into period number 2, and we're going to talk to Las Vegas Desert Dog forward Owen Sound Northstar Major Series Lacrosse Most Valuable Player. Jackson Webster joins us next. Stay classified.
This is Jalen Chaster, and you're listening to Lax Class.
Welcome back to Lax Class. We're into period number 2, and as you may or may not know, period number 2 is brought to you by Edge Dynamics. Edge Dynamics Digital is where you find them, and they're going to take your brand and bring it to a global audience. They're going to expose you, or maybe that's not the right way to say that. They're going to expose your brand to all sorts of eyeballs. Visit edgedynamics.ca. Sharpen your brand on a global level. people. Visit their social media at Edge Dynamics Digital. They pride themselves on their ability to merge creativity with data-driven insights, creating campaigns that are not only visually compelling, but also strategically sound. Stick to the script, Jumbo. Jesus. Welcome to Lax Class, Jackson Webster. How's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
We're good, man. I'm a little off my game here today. I'm not going to lie to you, man. I'm struggling a little bit, but hopefully I don't do that here with this interview. You did not struggle one bit this major series lacrosse season, Jackson. First and foremost, congratulations on the MVP of major series lacrosse. I don't know, what kind of goals or whatever you set for yourself going into a season, but I don't know if you had major series MVP on your card.
No, I think as a group as a whole, especially talking with Jonesy a lot through the offseason, through the NLL season going back to summer ball, we fully believe that we were a playoff team, and right now we've earned that right. We're just working our best to go give Chiefs as much run for money as they can. So
I bring up MVP, and he goes directly to his team and his teammates. That's the sign of a true character right there. Let's talk about that then, Jackson. Let's talk about your team there in Owen Sound, the Northstars. I've never been to Owen Sound. It's a fairly new franchise, and we all know the history with Brampton and all that sort of stuff. But tell me how you ended up in Owen Sound. Are you from the area, or did you get drafted there?
I got drafted there last summer, somewhere late second round, I believe. So yeah, just been there for the past 2 seasons. The only really other senior A experience I had was playing up. My 4th year junior, I played a couple games with Coburg, so I had a bit of a taste before I went into it. But yeah, just the draft took me out there, and we kind of ran with it the best we could.
What was it like playing out of Meaford this year? Because when you played last year, of course, you had Bayshore Community Center with an OHL barn, but you had to downsize a little bit to Meaford. I unfortunately never made the trip up there, Jackson, but I heard it was the definition of a barn.
Yeah, I would confidently say that we had the best home floor advantage in the league because nobody wanted to go there. So we talked about that as a team too. We just embrace it. That's our home for the season. We're going to be really excited to get back to the Bayshore because that's a wicked place to play. But we embraced it to the fullest. And yeah, it's a little slippery. It's a little tight. The locker rooms aren't 5-star, but that's okay. That's home for us. And they got the same locker rooms and the same floor and the same benches over there. So it's just sort of roll the balls out. We know what to expect. They might not, and we're going to go take it to them at home, defend it.
And what about the roster as a whole, Jackson? Like I mentioned, the history with the Excelsiors and the move and all that, and there was players that didn't want to go. But it sounds like you got a group there now that has kind of embraced playing with the Northstars and being in Owen Sound, and that has kind of carried you guys into a playoff spot.
Yeah, I would say that I'm really lucky in the sense of, I know you're around us as the Dogs a bunch too, but I'm on 2 rosters that are really, really close. A lot of camaraderie, a lot of great chemistry off the floor. You're just genuinely so excited to get into the room with those guys that going out and playing lacrosse is such a bonus to the whole thing. But yeah, you look at, we started the year off with Dylan Watson being an addition. You look at Mitch Wild. You see Mitch Wild play lacrosse up close and personal. That guy is insane. You can feel the power that he runs with. You can see the intensity that he brings when he plays. Adding Braden Maye to the lineup for those last couple games and going into playoffs now is wicked. And then, yeah, sort of in and out, 2 great goalies in the back between Caleb Martin and Andrew Kidd just coming into his own and first time being really having any opportunity to start in senior A lacrosse and just being really, really good at that. So
we're going to talk a little Las Vegas Desert Dogs, as I know you're actually down in Sin City right now doing a bunch of work down there with a couple of the boys. But I want to go back to you a little bit here, Jackson, because your story is an interesting one, right? Like with your break on to Vegas, and it was kind of like you were kind of a guy that seemingly kind of came out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden it's like, who's this guy? I was one of those guys, man. But then, you double down essentially here with your major series season. You are the leading scorer of this league by like 15, 16, 17 points, something like that. And you're ahead of guys like Dane Smith, Josh Byrne, Lyle Thompson. Like the list goes on here, man. Did it surprise yourself that you are the top dog in that league this season? I
would say yes, absolutely. Being confident in myself, I know I'm capable producing and making an impact. A lot of those impact I find is not necessarily score sheet impact, but people have asked a similar question. And honestly, sometimes the ball goes in for you and sometimes the ball doesn't, right? Like everybody's going to have good years and bad years and good starts and bad starts and whatever that may be, finishes as well. And just finding those other guys around me that really boosted me up there. And also just talking to Willie at the end of the season too, you're able to take stuff from playing in the NLL, playing against the best of the best. Not that playing my first year of major series wasn't like that, but you can definitely let that translate that jump in play style of the NLL back to summer ball.
Because how big of a gap is that? Like, I mean, what are some of the things that you did take from Las Vegas to implement in your game with Owen Sound, and maybe some of the guys that you took it from?
Oh, well, you go around the room with our offense in Vegas and just like encouraging guys all around, guys that are really trying to boost your own confidence into trusting yourself. I think that I've found the confidence to be willing to take a shot that I probably would have double clutched on a lot in the past 3 seasons of lacrosse I played. And that's from getting guys like Donnie and Jack in your ear, and Casey, Potsy, whoever it may be, saying like, fire that ball. You have a great shot. Take it. If it doesn't go, we're going to get it back in 30 seconds. Like, it's not the end of the world. It's okay. And being confident in the coaching staff, let me go for it too. But some of those reads, right? Like, it's tighter arenas, as we sort of talked about, tighter floors. The game slows down a little bit. It's not as up and down and back and forth, totally different than like watching that New West Vic game last night, right? Like guns a-blazing, up, down, up, down. Major series is completely different than that as far as slow possessions. And you get the Chiefs taking the life out of the ball because they can run a progression over and over again. And even if you play it perfectly, they can still probably pot a goal, right? So being able to read through those, letting a couple of decisions slow down, and just ultimately being confident to pull a ball and let it fly when you have that opportunity for anybody on our team, right? There's a by committee type thing of anybody can pull it at any time.
You talked about smaller arenas, different coaching staff, players, etc. But I want to ask you, Jackson, about floor conditions, because it's very different going from turf to the concrete. I've spoken to goalies about this, but how is it different from a player perspective, and especially you as a forward?
Yeah, your footing's different everywhere. I mean, I was lucky in the sense like I grew up playing games at the track, grew up playing games at the ILA, and then playing in Halton Hills my whole life. Like that's concrete through and through. You're used to it somewhat growing up, and then I would just say like the biggest difference is on your body. Like you can totally tell the difference when you get a fresh, squishy turf that takes the life out of your legs, and then the very next night you're in Meaford and you're pounding pavement for 60 minutes. Your joints don't feel as comfortable, but the turf, right? Like you can feel tired after first 10 minutes of the first period, no problem, because it feels like you're almost running in mud. It's heavier legs on those. But I mean, sometimes
what do you prefer? It sounds like you prefer concrete.
Some days, especially in Meaford, right? You get those D guys, they have to close out and play you. You're in such a small arena. If they don't play you, you're going to be able to get a quality shot off. And if they come flying out at you, you really got some good luck trying to get your footing back underneath you.
Are we going to be able to watch the playoffs from Owen Sound? Like, are we going to, like, am I going to be able to see this, Jackson? Because I've been struggling to find MSL games on as a whole, but I'd like to watch you and the Northstars play in the playoffs.
Well, I definitely know that the ILA does a pretty good job of getting those Chiefs games up on YouTube. We're supposed to be on Rogers TV. Sometimes it shows up, sometimes it doesn't. Tough to get it, but Spencer and Steve and the crew do a pretty good job. If you ever get the chance to go watch those guys, Spencer's my dad loves Spencer on our calls, so he's a lot of fun to be around.
Yeah, I mean, just give me something. Just give me something. Let's go down to Las Vegas here, man. You're actually sitting in the training room right now down there in Henderson, I believe, and I know you got a few guys down there. Camp 99, I saw Captain Kirsty. I know Hammer was down there for a little bit. I think Potts is down there. Talk about it, man, because I saw the social media. Kayla's always cranking out the good content, and it looked like there was a ton of kids there having a blast, and it just makes me excited for the sport, the league, Las Vegas, seeing all these kids being introduced to the game of box lacrosse, and you've been a big part of that as well. Talk about it all. Yeah, I mean, right now this week it's Kirsty, me, Pilcher, and Jonathan Gagliardi. So those are the four. Pilcher's moved back down. Kirsty's sort of in and out. This is his domain, but he's got to go back to PLL this week too.
Yeah, last week, Potsy, Hammer, Josh Jackson, and then Pilcher and Kersey were in it too. But listening to those guys talk about last week, a lot of fresher, unexperienced lacrosse. Almost every kid that was here, over 30 kids for week one, first time really having a stick in their hand for any extended period of time with anything organized. And then this week, we've got almost 50 kids and a good 15 to 20 of them just capable lacrosse players, right? Just not necessarily the opportunities to do that. And they're eager, right? They're asking, well, we see that there's junior NLL teams and there's travel teams and stuff like that. When are we going to do that? And that's what we've been working on behind the scenes. I know Kersey's really diving into that, and Willie as well as Cody just really wanting to dive into that because there is a demand for it and we have the opportunity to give that. But I mean, one of the real sort of forks in the road is floor time is so difficult to find out here, right? And it's over 100 degrees every single day. Like, you can't have those kids outside for more than 25 minutes to do anything really sustainable without needing to take a break or whatever that may be. So it's making the most of the floor time. And as most of us know, like, floor time in Lee's Family Forum, let alone somewhere else, is not cheap, right? So trying to do that to the best of your ability and give those kids those opportunities that they're also looking for too. So, well, hopefully maybe the big boss will just construct a couple of dry floor arenas around the surrounding area. But how about you personally, Jackson? Do you enjoy getting in touch with the kids here and teaching the game? And not everybody's kind of comfortable in that situation doing that type of stuff, but you strike me as a guy that is. Yeah, I mean, I love it. I was lucky to be in situations, especially in Halton, like minor lacrosse, where the older guys gave back, right? My dream my whole life was to be a Halton Hills Junior B Bulldog, and I got to do that for a season. For these kids, this is the closest thing they have to that, and it's even higher level, right? And yeah, I love to sort of see those kids progress and really live that dream. And also, right, like, I can picture Colin Doyle coming off the floor after a Brampton Excelsiors game or a Toronto Rock game and me being over the moon about that, right? So also being able to, I don't know if it's me, but seeing those guys go run up to Connor Kirst and Jack Hanna, especially when he's around, like, seeing the passion that brings to those kids, that's really awesome. And if I can and really make an impact on anybody, even if it's one kid, that's gravy too.
Lacrosse is now expanding in the state of Nevada. It became a sanctioned sport there a couple months ago during the NLL season, Jackson. From your perspective and the rest of what the Desert Dogs are doing, how much is it actually expanding, and what is kind of the overall arching view and vision for what lacrosse in the state of Nevada could look like eventually?
Well, you see the growth out of, like, what a California may be, or even just how prominent even Colorado would be. And then you look around the state of Nevada, like, football is huge, soccer is huge. I mean, it's hot, but Arizona is facing the same problems. Utah faces the same problems. So, but other sports there are huge as well. And the grass for hockey with the Golden Knights and minor hockey, right? Like, we got 20 kids that are here that are a team on a minor hockey team here, and they've taken the week to be here. They're going to go do hockey camp next week. But the growth and the hope is that high school lacrosse is going to be highly sought after, and we're going to see a lot of NCAA athletes coming out of Nevada, and the growth in Las Vegas all the way up to Reno, and even making it a sort of competitive loop between Arizona and California and Utah. That'd be great. But making it a household sport, no different than what hockey seems to have become out here, because we realize it's possible, even if it's not the number one sport out here, right? Yeah, it's awesome. I'll always say, grassroots lacrosse in markets is the most crucial thing for long-term sustainability. Like, if you don't have kids playing lacrosse in the city that you have a team, then you don't have the parents that need to bring those kids to games and spend the money and all the rest of it. So it all intertwines, but you have to have some sort of assembled lacrosse market in your city where you're going to have that solid fan base and that interest, and that's how you grow a franchise. Jackson, we'll let you go here, but before I do, I got to ask, 91. Now, is that because Potsy had 19 and he just kind of flipped that around, or have you always been a 91 guy? And if so, how come? No, I mean, I wore Clem Durazio, who was a D coach in Albany, was my high school coach, and there wasn't very many numbers left in high school when I went to Everest, and I picked 99, which if I could go back, I'd probably redo that one.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I wore 33 a lot. That's what I wear in the summertime. But 19 in college, and then Kyle Buchanan has been a huge impact on my life as a whole for a really long time now. And I was able to, just shoot him a text, and I asked him if he'd be okay with sharing that with me. And it was just, a really special one that I can share that with Bucky, because I was lucky enough to play against him this year, but we talked about that for a really long time, probably a decade, to hope to get to play against each other or share the floor at some point, and we did, and hopefully I can carry on the legacy of that number that he's created, because he means a lot to me. So
Bucky's the best, man. Jackson, you're the best. You're the MVP of Major Series Lacrosse, and can't wait to see how you guys do against the Chiefs in the playoffs, and look forward to seeing you back down in Las Vegas and what will feel like a long time, but it won't be, man. December will be here before you know it. So good luck in the playoffs, and keep her rolling, man. It's great to see.
Jake, Lucas, thanks, guys. Appreciate it a ton.
There you go. There he is, Jackson Webster. And I'm glad we had a chance to kind of run him down, Lucas. He busted onto the scene with Las Vegas, kind of came in, I want to say like the third pole of the season. And once he came in, he wasn't coming back out of the lineup, just continued to produce. And he wasn't, blowing the doors off the stats pages or anything. But for a rookie to step in and have an impact on that roster was very impressive, and clearly it wasn't a fluke, because like I mentioned, he goes and he leads the Major Series, and I'm looking at the games that Byrne played and Smith played, and I mean, they're up there, like 14, 15, and he played 17 games, but shit, man, like, that is impressive as hell to lead that list of guys that play in that league and to be the top dog. That's a feather in your cap that nobody can take away from you.
Were you trying to make a pun? Because you absolutely just did. He's a desert dog in the winter, top dog in the summer.
I know what I'm doing over here, Larger.
Anyways, no, he had a great season. Kudos to Jackson. Congratulations. And he stepped in this summer knowing that Owen Sound was a playoff caliber team, and he took the reins and he just ran with it. So
I might as well out myself here now that we've talked to Jackson. So, leading into this week, I'm like, well, who are we going to get? Let's get the MVP on. For some reason, I think it's because you said Coburg was going to be in the playoffs, that I thought, okay, like, he's in the playoffs. That's good. He's the MVP. Let's talk to Jack. So for some reason, I had it stuck in my head that Jackson Webster played for the Coburg Kodiaks. So I'm like, okay, well, how do I get Jackson's number? I could probably text Las Vegas, but it's the off season. So I'll just text the head coach of the Coburg Kodiaks and Joe Sullivan and ask for Jackson's number. And so, and I'm buddies with Sully. Like, we chat from time to time. And I said, oh, can I get Webster's number from you? And he says, Jackson? And I said, yeah. And he goes, okay, let me see what I can do. Didn't hear back from Sully. I reached out to somebody else, got Jackson's number. And I was like, okay, good, all good. Then I do the Instagram post today. Put Jackson Webster, and I know I put him in a Desert Dogs uniform because I couldn't really find a good picture of him in a Northstars uniform, because I was looking Kodiak's account, which I tagged on the Instagram post, only to see that Owen Sound reposted that post. And I was like, well, why the fuck is Owen Sound reposting a Jackson Webster Kodiak? Like, what is going on here? And then I'm like, oh my God, I am an idiot. So then I texted Sully. I said, you must think I am the dumbest clown on the planet asking you for Jackson Webster's number. He goes, I didn't want to say anything, but I was kind of wondering why you'd ask me. Jackson Webster plays for the Owen Sound Northstars, not the Coburg. I just had it stuck in my head. That was the way it was. And I'm glad I kind of found out before I hit the record button here on the podcast and made a real ass out of myself.
We all make mistakes, Jake. It's all good.
Well, I appreciate Jackson Webster coming on the program nonetheless, and I had a good chat with him, and we'll see. Northstars and Chiefs in the opening round. Let's take a break, Lucas. I think we need one after that. And then we'll get to the third period of play, or action, as it were, and we will deliver our Lax Class Luck of the Week.
Associated Labels and Packaging, a fun family company that offers premium quality labels and packaging with unparalleled service. With 40 years of experience, an extensive product catalog, and an ever-growing fleet of equipment, Associated Labels and Packaging is the perfect fit to take your labels and packaging to the next level.
Hi, this is Bill Fox, NLL Hall of Fame referee, and you're listening to Lax Class.
Lax Class Lock of the Week coming up here in the third period. Also here in the third period is the time I like to talk about Associated Labels and Packaging. They are a fun, family-owned company that offers premium quality labels and packaging with unparalleled service, over 45 years of experience, an extensive product catalog, an ever-growing fleet of equipment. Do you need more? Associated Labels and Packaging, they are the perfect fit to take your label or your package to the next level. AssociatedLP.com is where you go if you want to do that. I highly recommend. Also here in the third is the time to ask you to review the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, share the podcast, follow the podcast, and we'd appreciate it if you did all that. Now, Lucas, let's jump in to this week's Lax Class Lock of the Week.
Lock of the week. Hey, let's lock and load it. Woo! Yeah!
I am going to be a very rich dude.
Ooh, it's a big lock, all right.
Okay, the Lax Class Lock of the Week is brought to you by CoolBet Canada. CoolBet.com is where you want to go to find CoolBet. Then you want to sign yourself up for an account if you haven't done that yet. If you haven't done that yet, now is the time. CoolBet.com, sign up for an account before you make any kind of deposit. Make sure you just tap that little box there, bonus, and then put in Lax Class, all one word, LAXCLASS, Lax Class in the little bonus box there, and then that'll trigger the folks at CoolBet to match your first-time deposit up to $200. Take advantage of this. Put in 200. They give you 200. I could use 200 in my account right now. I can tell you that. Lax Class Lock of the Week, Largy. You put this one together. Now, quick turnaround here, classmates. You're going to have to get down on this quickly because they're taking a little break over the long weekend. So July 31st, Thursday, Coquitlam and Maple Ridge will play game 2 of their series, and then they will not play again until Tuesday, New West, Victoria, for game 3 of that series. So a little break over the long weekend here for the playoffs for the WLA. So you got to jump on this quick. Thursday night in Maple Ridge, game 2, and it looks like this. Burrards plus 1.5 on their home floor. Over 17.5. Lucas, you looked up the numbers for their 3-game series, and 2 out of the 3 went under 18 goals. We have Marcus Clarich, first-team All-Star, to get 4 more points. And Jalen Chester, quarterback on the Adnac power play, to pick up 2 points or more in this one as well. Take it to the bank. Take out a second mortgage. Refinance the car. Blow the kids' college fund. Do it all. Lay it all down here this week on the Lax Class Lock of the Week, courtesy of Lucas Arger and CoolBet. And hopefully game 2, Maple Ridge. Book it here. We need a win, playoff style here. What do you put this together? You're feeling good about this one?
Yeah, I am. Especially the over on the 17.5. I think we're gonna hit that one. And you
wanted to go 18.5, and
I wanted to, but then I forgot that Christian Del Bianco will be in net for the remainder of Coquitlam's playoff run, and I thought, yeah, that's not happening. So we took the over on 17.5. But also Marcus Clarich. He just loves finding the back of the net.
I'm still a little skeptical that we get that over. Humphrey's been playing good all year as well. And then playoff Del Bianco is a different animal. But we'll see. We'll see. Good luck, everybody. So I'm just kidding about the mortgage and the car and the college fund and everything. I'm joking, everybody. Stay cool. Bet responsibly. And we'll see if we can make the classmates some money this week. Lucas, I think that's going to wrap up another episode here. Like I said, we're going to have to figure out our August. I think we'll be good for next week, and then we need to kind of figure things out for the next few after that. We'll do that. But we'll be here next week for episode 350 coming up next week. I want to thank Jackson Webster for coming on the program. I want to thank Associated Labels and Packaging. I want to thank Rycor Construction, Edge Dynamics, Goalie Factory, Quebec, Canada, and, of course, the WLA. I want to thank you, the classmate, for listening each and every week here to Lacrosse Classified. But we got to go. For Lucas, RJ Bin, Jake Elliott, and for the fastest game on 2 feet, and for the creator, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay classified.